That's a great story, Jordan.
What were we talking about? We were talking about video games. We were talking about the fact that Steel Rising came out and the fact that it didn't have enough marketing. I don't know what to say about it.
You need to explain what Steel Rising is, because if you just told me Steel Rising came out, I would have no idea what the fuck that was.
Which is part of... Okay, it's a good point. That's part of the problem. Steel Rising is the most recent game from a studio called Spiders, who are most well known at this point for probably making Greedfall. But before that, Technomancer, you know...
yeah, it came out in September. I heard literally nothing about it. Nothing. Zero. Zilch.
I heard some. There were certain streamers who were like, hey, I'm playing Steel Rising because it's out now. And I was like, it's out now? And I just didn't have time to look at it. By the time people listen to this, I'm pretty sure God of War will be out or eminently out. Ragnarok.
I know it's coming out, but I don't know the date. Is it soon?
Wednesday. Wednesday, the 9th. Again, this will probably be out or something like
Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so yeah, it'll come out first. Are you excited for that?
Eminently. That's the game that me and all my friends are probably all like, you know, it's fun when everybody's playing that. And in my friend group, there's not a lot of like Mass Effect or Dragon Age fans who are hardcore about it. They like Mass Effect, but they're not hardcore like I am. So we played Horizon Forbidden West and sort of had a group chat going, talking about it. We'll probably be doing the same thing with Ragnarok, so that should be fun.
Oh, that'd be fun, yeah.
People are... The review scores are through the roof.
They are.
Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. I feel like because it's coming out so close to the Game Awards, it's going to win Game of the Year by default.
You know, I'm a big fan of, you know, not to knock reviewers, but everybody's got to form their own opinion. And this is what I was sharing with my friends, which is that I hope, I'm not saying this because I haven't played it, I don't know, but I hope there wasn't any prestige in the review of this because it's a sequel to a game that won Game of the Year in 2018.
I forgot that.
Yeah, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 actually should have won Game of the Year in 2018 personally, but who knows? Maybe Ragnarok is truly better and hopefully it's not any like, we got to give this thing a 9.5 because it was sequel to Game of the Year. So anyway, I'm very much looking forward to Ragnarok as well.
Indeed. So let's this is another... I feel like we've had a couple of these in a row where it's just like we are recording so infrequently that like our episodes just become like miscellaneous news catch up.
Yeah, a little bit.
We haven't really had like a proper thing in a while. Sorry about that. But so the two news we wanted to talk about today was Dragon Age Dreadwolf is in alpha and what the fuck that means. And then I also want to talk about Heroes of Dragon Age finally shot the bed. It's dying. The end. There's more to that. So what would you prefer to start with?
Let's start with the big news. Let's talk about the alpha.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, the blog post. It's been a hot minute since that was that last week? I think was the...
Let's call it 2 weeks, probably.
Yeah, something close to that. But yeah, the game is an alpha. That means that... so I say this means I watched a video that Mark Adara on his newly branded Mark Dara on Games YouTube channel, where he talked about like what that would probably mean. He's not associated with the project anymore, but his guess is that like, the game is now playable from start to finish. It's probably really buggy, and is now in a position where they're just going to be refining it. But like for the most part, if you, I would joke about this on people or with people on my Discord where we would pretend to be hired as a cleaning service in Bioware, but secretly just go in and play the games in the midnight when we're cleaning.
What a fascinating scenario!
Just the long story on how that one happened, but yeah, if you're joining me on my my quest to go play Dragon Age, we can go break in and probably play it now if we really wanted to. In theory, don't actually do that.
Too bad we don't do skits. If we did skits, we could do...
But how would you do audio skit? I guess you could.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, we don't do video. No one even knows what we look. But if we did skits, get like low budget skits, you know what I mean? We would have fake mustaches and like the sort of janitor uniforms that real janitors don't even wear anymore. and like a giant broom, just like the broom that's made out of hay or whatever the fuck it's made out of. Like not even like a proper broom that they would use in modern times.
Like shit, something you found at Hobby Lobby during the fall season, like that
Like
kind
a
of
witch
stuff.
broom, exactly.
You have like a fake like French maid accent. Hello, yes, I am here to clean the room.
Just a Harry Potter Nimbus 3000. Fuck it. Like just
It is actually a Harry Potter just Nimbus 3000 like plastic bullshit.
yeah, exactly. Someone's wearing a Quidditch uniform, and we go, "No, what are you doing?" I thought we were disguising ourselves as brooms, man. Come on.
In the alternate reality where we're funny and where you can be comedians. Oh god. But yeah, I guess it's just one exciting milestone that the game is playable and all that. Now, I will say there's a lot of hubbub on Reddit about like, oh, when Inquisition posted that they were an alpha, it was 6 months before release. Yes, but that also involved like a lot of crunch, and that was like a big part of the Schreier story back in the day. And
Mm-hmm.
since Bioware has made it very well known that they're not doing that anymore, it would definitely be not that short, I guess. I also don't know how long it would be though, especially since with COVID, people aren't really coming into the office anymore still. So like, what does that look like? Is COVID actually it slows things down anymore? Or have they kind of figured that out? I don't actually know. Like it could, like I guess it's within the realm of possibility that this time next year we could have it in our hands or at least getting like a date. I don't know.
I would be surprised if they were more than a year out. And when I say that from a place of total ignorance. But I think that if we try and extrapolate, which we probably shouldn't,
Yeah.
let's just say we don't know when the fucking game's coming out.
No, we
But to the point of like, is COVID an issue, or will it take longer than the 6 months between alpha and release for Inquisition? I'd say yes, it's going to
Oh,
take longer than
definitely,
6
yeah.
months, because I don't think the world is the same place. Like, I have no idea what COVID restrictions are like in Canada. I don't live in Canada. In America, COVID actual restrictions aren't really affecting any workplaces, but the decisions that have to be made about hybrid work are affecting places in one way or another. And transitions are not easy. There's technology, there's a lot of apparatus that goes into it, no matter what field or industry it is. And so I just can't. And also, what you said about crunch, if there's a commitment that they're really going to honor about trying to eliminate that sort of thing, I don't imagine 6 months from now the game's going to be out. I would say that that's a low possibility.
I would almost like bet I was gonna say house, but I don't have a fucking house. Why would I bet a house?
I'm bet somebody else's house.
Yeah, okay, I'll bet somebody else's house. That way I can get a house out of this. That yeah, it's not gonna be in 6 months. I would honestly, I think I'd be kind of surprised. Maybe because I would be surprised if this time next year we have it in our hands as well. But I also wonder if I'm biased because I've been hoping that Dragon Age 4 comes out in any time within the next 2 years for the last almost 10 years. So at this point, yeah, how weird is it going to be when we actually have it in our hands? Because like it's been so fucking long.
You and I have been, first of all, wrong so much.
Yes,
well,
100%.
Again, granted, every time we were making the predictions, like there were very different circumstances that would have led to it being somewhat plausible at the time.
Yeah,
but things change. But kind of a funny perspective on this. One of my friends who, long story short, like we were friends at one point and then we lost touch for a long time and now we're sort of back in contact again. He's a big Mass Effect and Dragon Age fan. Like he's one of my only friends who's like as hardcore into it as I am, where he's played Mass Effect like 10, 12 times. And he's played Dragon Age probably like 5, 6 times, the 3 games. Well, the other day we were talking about it and he was talking about maybe doing another Inquisition playthrough. And I was like, well, hey, like Dreadwolf is coming out, maybe next year or something like that. And he's like, wait, what's Dragon Age Dreadwolf? He's like, that would be awesome. And the idea that it might be, coming out, like, well, maybe it's coming out next year. He's like, oh, that's cool. That's not too long. Like, on the inside, I'm dying. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are going to see it from that perspective. No, they're not going to think it's a big, long wait. To them, it's going to be like, oh, it's coming out soon.
I whoever those people are, bless them, because they are they got the better end of this bargain.
They really did. That's going to be most people. That was one thing that I think the fandom, as it were, has to keep in mind is that we're the minority of people who have been paying attention to this
Mhm.
development cycle since it started.
Yeah, I there was actually I was talking to some people on my Discord to bring that up again, but someone was I forget. I think so. It was like, oh, it's Dragon Age Origins anniversary was I think last week, and it turned 13 years old. And so it was like 13. That can't be right because like it's been almost 10 years since Inquisition. We had to be like, no, that's right. Just 3 games came out in about 4 years versus the last 8. We've gotten jack shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were like, oh fuck, that's
Yeah.
right.
That's not even a Bioware thing. I mean, you look at Rockstar, you look at other studios,
That's true. Yeah.
it just takes longer now, apparently.
Yeah, it's probably because technology is so much more complicated. That was actually something Mark Dara mentioned that like he worded much better than I did. I think it was on his like 10K subscriber Q&A where it's like he
Mm-hmm.
thinks that the games industry is starting to reach a point where games are becoming too expensive to make for the time they need. So like we're probably going to have to like have like a little bit of stagnation in technology. um I I think I'm wording this a bit wrong, to be honest, but like it's just that things are getting so complicated that it takes so long to make things that games are coming out slower, and so like you need to like make some compromises before the technology catches up.
Yeah, I think compromises are probably good. But I think especially for games like the ones that Bioware makes, the most important thing for all of us is the story, the characters, the choices you can make. You know what sort of themes are being encompassed, and graphics and gameplay are very important, but they're probably not as important to this audience.
Well, it's also I think like Inquisition, like if you do 100% playthrough, it would probably take like I mean, just judging by like my live stream of it, I think I had like almost 60 episodes of about 2 hours each. You know, that's like
Yeah,
120 something. Where Dragon Age 2, I think I had like 30. It was easy, like half of that. You
right.
know, so like I could see them just like it's very polished, everything's very beautiful and whatever. It's just shorter. And, like, I don't mind that, I guess. Now, I think like, if that happens, people are gonna be upset because you pay, $60 for a game that's shorter than the last version, even though the last version, if you
Sure,
didn't do all the fetch quests, was probably 30 hours. But
sure.
um,
Well, I think that's a really interesting question. I don't want to derail us too much from the alpha discussion, but fuck it, we can do whatever we want. And this is an interesting topic, I think, which is
mhm,
that we have found a place in other media to perceive or to categorize something that is too long.
yeah.
People have an understanding that movies can be too long. No one says, like, well, I paid my $15 for the ticket. I want it to be 4 hours long. Like, we have an understanding that somewhere around 3 hours, we start to go, sheesh, man, does this thing really need to be that long?
Yeah.
Different form factor, because you're sitting there in the theater or even sitting there at home if you want to watch the movie how you should, all in one sitting. But even things like books. I mean, we
Mhm,
like a good long book, but goddamn, George R. R. Martin comes out with some of these 1,300 pages, and you're like, sheesh, man, couldn't you have made this 2 books instead? Or,
mhm.
we have this perception of things that are too long, but it seems like we're still kind of trying to find that with games.
Yeah, and also because, like, different games measure time differently. Like, I got I played that was a word. Transistor
Yeah,
years ago, and I liked it. And I didn't really want to do any of the extra content. I just wanted to get the main story, and I was out there. Um, and that was fine. Meanwhile, in Animal Crossing, I'm still playing that, and I'm like at an absurd amount of hours. It's like over 1,000 at this point. And like so it's I don't know, like different games do different things. Like Michael, my husband, he's been playing Factorio for ages.
sure.
He's put an
Yeah.
absurd amount of in Factorio versus like I think after he's been done with my daughter just opened the door. Sweetheart, how did you open the door? Hey baby, there's a child lock on there. How'd you do that? Do we
Baby
just
Ghildirthalen, everyone. Smart enough to outsmart baby locks.
Hey baby, you doing okay? You just want to join us for a bit? How did she open the door? Oh my goodness. Are you getting smart to? We're gonna have to do something. Do you want to say something? Do you want to say something, baby? You say hi. She's never seen my microphone out, so she is absolutely perplexed by this. All right, why don't you go get set with Papa?
Can you say subscribe to Exalted March?
Yeah.
Thanks, sweetheart. That was the first time live on air, I suppose, that my child was able to bypass the child lock, and my life flashed before my eyes. Like, oh no, we're gonna have to redo the whole goddamn house.
She's evolving.
Oh no, she's only 2.
Wouldn't you think it? These kids keep getting smarter.
I know, and like her face was also like, oh my god, I did it. What the fuck?
Recognition.
Oh god, what were we talking?
Inside. This is so stupid. If we say she walks over to you and she's just like, you know, the scene from the fucking Tom Hanks movie? She's like, look at me. Look at me. I am the parent now. Now you get locked out of rooms, Mom.
I'm the one doing YouTube now.
All right, what were we talking about?
I don't fucking know. It's gone.
Oh, the length of games.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I think that like different people want different things, but yeah, I think for the most part, there's like I say recently, this was a couple years ago now. Played Dragon Age Legends. I get them confused. That game was too fucking long. And I think like how I judged at the time of like when it was too long was that I kept doing the same things over and over and over and over and over, and I wasn't getting anything new out of it. I wasn't getting any experience out of it. It had just become stagnant. So like I guess that's my measure of how when a game's too long. But like no offense to anyone that plays EVE Online, but I imagine that's exactly what that's like too. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, it begs it. I mean, yeah, that begs the question, right? What is too long? And when you were talking about Animal Crossing or Factorio, like, well, when is a person done playing Animal Crossing? Right? Like, that's a really tough question to ask. Like, it doesn't end in the way that a narrative-driven game ends. Like, when is a person done playing Elite Dangerous or something like that? It's like the whole idea kind of is repetition. If you don't like repetition, then don't start playing it. But if you kind of dig on iterative repetition, doing the same thing with some better upgrades or doing the same thing with a different locale that you've made or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just the point of those games.
Yeah. I can, as a quick tangent, I know we've had like 100 of these so far, but I'm not really like active in any Animal Crossing community because Lord knows Dragon Age takes enough of my time, but I like perusing it every once in a while. And about like, you know, it started happening probably like 6 months ago, but there's a lot of people going like, oh, I hate being burnt out of Animal Crossing. I just don't want to play it, but I want to play, but I don't want to play. I'm just so burnt out. I'm like, baby girl, you don't have to play it. There are other games, sweetheart. Right. It's okay. You can move on. The Animal Crossing doesn't have to be your life. But what's interesting, I don't know. There's a lot of people when the game came out decided, possibly because it came out right as the pandemic and people need something to fucking do, and like Animal Crossing became their personality for a whole 2 years. But now like there's like a lot of like accounts that were dedicated to like making builds and photos and all sorts of stuff, and now they don't know what to do, and that's kind of over. But this is such a big project for them now. They don't have anything to do, and they keep saying like, oh, I wish we could, you know, like not be burnt out anymore. I'm like, you can play other games, like it's okay.
Yeah, 2,000 hours is enough.
Yeah. You know, like it's like I'm still finishing off my island, to be quite honest. But once I finish my island, like I'll probably stop because I've gotten my fill. I've done my thing. I'm good. I'm just slow as shit, and I don't time travel, so I've had a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. We've touched on stuff like this, I guess, kind of before, but it bears repeating, right? Like, and I've had to remind myself of this throughout the years, which is that even though we think of a property, or I'll just call it what it is, a product, as being kind of a hobby or like quote unquote part of our personality, it's really not. Like, it really is a product. And so film can be a hobby, like liking movies can be a hobby, liking games can be a hobby. But if you latch on to one or a franchise, now you're just sort of like free marketing for the place, right? So as
Yeah.
much as I fucking love Mass Effect, I'm not exactly, I'm guilty of it, right? Like I'm totally latched onto Mass Effect, but that's also because genuinely every time I've played those fucking games, like I'm not bored. I don't know what's wrong with me, why I can play it 15 times and still be like, oh yeah, Shepard said that. Like no matter how many fucking times I've heard it, I genuinely enjoy it every time.
Well, and that's me with Dragon Age. Like, I think that, but I think there's also, I know we keep talking about that. I feel like every other episode this comes up now, where it's like, we definitely only project on the internet that side of us, but there's other sides of us. Like, I like other things, you like other things,
Yeah.
so we just don't talk about it on here. But like the kids, the teens, they post everything online, and sometimes they think that that's the way things are. You know,
Sure.
like they should only have that one personality. So like a lot of these kids that were getting into Animal Crossing, like, oh, I have to 100% be Animal Crossing. I buy all the Animal Crossing, and then now that it's not there, it's like, what do I do until the next game? Like, you don't have to play Animal Crossing. You can
read books.
Well, you didn't even have to even read books. You can like just literally do anything. But there's a lot of people actually moving on to this game called Disney Dreamlight. Not my cup of tea, but like it's basically Disney's Animal Crossing was like, fuck, that makes money, and decided to do it. So like there's people moving on to that. Like just move on to like different farming Sims games,
Yeah.
you know, like stuff like that. And like you do see a lot of people doing that, but there's also people that don't. This is so far removed from what you're meant to be talking about.
I'll see if I can maybe circle this back. So kind of before we get right back to the alpha, kind of going back to the length of games topic. For narrative games, I think it's narrative games like Dragon Age and Mass Effect. I think it's very hard because there's a central narrative, which I think can definitely be too long. Like definitely. If it can be too long for books, even if you want it to be 700, 800 pages, but it can get too long, then it can be too long for games when we're talking about the central narrative. But games, even games that have central narrative, have two things. They've got central narrative and then they have a world. Yeah. And the central narrative you want to be done with, but there's an argument that the world, quote unquote, should exist in some sort of post-campaign state, maybe. Maybe there's certain side quests specifically for after the main quest, but then after you do those, what do you do? Like, it's a harder question to answer. The central narrative, definitely people need to be mindful of making it something that you can be done with in a reasonable amount of time. But I don't know how to answer the question about the world and when is that done. And I think that's a very hard question. I still think with the Mass Effect games, it's more like the narrative is done and then you're kind of there. I don't know what none of us know what Dragon Age Dreadwolf is going to be, but I hope there's, and I'm sure there is, like a mindfulness of the fact that the central narrative can definitely be too long.
As a not even an aside, but I thought of a game that's narrative driven that I've played that is way too fucking long, and that is Divinity. Divinity Original Sin 2. I want to play that again, but every time I think about how much of a time sink that is, I just get intimidated and then I don't. And I think that's a mark of something that is way too long because it is a long game.
I completely agree. It's very long. You know, The Witcher 3, although I absolutely love that. It's one of the greatest games of all time, in my opinion. It's really long, the main quest.
It is, yeah. It is. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the length of Inquisition because I think it was snappy. Like I think there are some parts of it that could have been elaborated more. But I think that if they have a really tight narrative, if they hit around that whatever Inquisitionist mark, I think that could be good. So
yeah, I don't mind shorter. Like I really don't. If Dragon Age Dreadwolf is 40 hours, which by the way, 40 hours is long. There was a time when a 40-hour RPG was like, oh my god, it's a 40-hour RPG. Now people don't have that reaction unless it's 100 hours.
Yeah.
If it's 40 hours, I'm 100% satisfied.
Yeah. I will also say, like, I think that there is people that are like, oh, like I have to, count my time for dollars or whatever. So like if I, pay $60 for a game that's only 40 hours and my time is worth this much and like whatever, like, and maybe one, I don't think you should be thinking like that. And two, like maybe the main campaign is only 40 hours and like maybe let's even include all the side quests. Like it's just a really short game. Myself, and I know others, are going to want to replay it again and again and again and again and again and again. So that 40 hours suddenly turns into hundreds of hours where I do all the romances, and then I have to look at all the codex entries, and there was this quest choice, so I'm going to do it this side now and see all the different answers. And like you could do that with even any of the Bioware games. I think that's one of the reasons why you're able to play it 15 times. It kind of feels fresh because like, oh, there's that one line of dialogue I've never gotten before, so I'm going to replay all 600 hours of the series or whatever just to get that one line of dialogue. So
yeah, I think those people who are counting the hours, I don't think they would realistically make that sort of choice in any other realm, and they're making a mistake, I believe, of always assuming that if there's this great quality, you can easily duplicate that quality to a high quantity. When in reality, like I said, if you posited the choice of like, do you want to watch a 6-hour shit movie or you want to watch an hour and a half awesome movie? Do you want like a really great like fine meal or you want 10,000 Taco Bell taco? Like what do you want? Like,
here's the thing: someone's sitting there like, I don't know, man. I kind of want this 10,000 Taco Bell tacos. Like they exist.
somebody does want that, and for those people, I don't know what game I want to slam. Whatever. I'm sure there's some game out there that's just
Roblox.
a pure grind fest. Sure.
I don't even know what you do. What the fuck is Roblox? I thought it was Minecraft, and every time I see something with Roblox, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Anyway.
But those options are out there if they want 10,000 gamer Taco Bell tacos.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about actually probably Dragon Age's version of 10,000 Taco Bell tacos. No, that was I'm being too mean on Hoda. It was Legends. That was 100% Legends. But this one, Heroes of Dragon Age. I think did we ever talk about this game? Like, do you know what this is?
We've talked about it very briefly at some point in the past. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for people that don't know what it is, because it is very soon going away. I think the last days was it January 23rd before? It's like sometime in January of next year that it gets going kaput. But Heroes of Dragon Age is an iPhone and Android game that has the Dragon Age IP attached to it, and that's kind of it. It's it's how do I even describe? I have done a video on it on my channel if you wanna see like my rundown of when I played the game. God, was that 2019? It might have been 2019. It was a long fucking time ago. But you basically collect figurines in a gashapon machine, and then you make them fight. Except you don't have any inputs to the fight. You literally just watch them fight, and you level up your figurines to get a better party so that they could defeat other figurines. That's the game.
So yeah, that is the game. So although you and I don't play these much, at least I've tried them. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Same company, yeah.
Yeah, Star Trek Fleet Command. The Marvel one, there's actually been 2 or 3 Marvel ones that are the same basic fucking concept. Mm-hmm. I don't remember the names of them anymore. It's all the same game, folks. If you know one of them, you know all of them, and this is Dragon Age's iteration of that.
Yeah, it's been out for like a long time. Like I think it came out before Inquisition, and it's now just shutting down. Which I'll get to my theory on why it's shutting down in a little bit. So I guess just kind of talking about that a little bit. Like it's so there's a couple people I talked to. I have unofficially been calling them my archivist friends, but we've been sitting there and putting in the effort to save as much as we can of the game and like what's actually worth saving. Which we have deemed any of the art assets because while some of them are flawed, very much flawed, a lot of like the character designs are really cool because so there's like character designs of book characters that have never been seen in games, like Evangeline from Asunder and like other people. And like it's really cool seeing like the designs and like each figurine has 4 iterations, and so like there's 4 iterations of characters that are just nice to see. The sometimes like the modeling because made to see on your phone is like kind of low quality, but like all that stuff is real cool. There's a couple of like in-game text, some of the backgrounds, the assets, and I guess this could be an announcement, I guess, but we've gotten most of that now. So I was able to contact. I will say we did not do as much work as I thought we did. I was able to. Someone linked to me, and then I contacted a website called Hoda Base, and it was some person that just basically ripped the game and has like this really cool archive, and you can actually access it online. Just Google Hoda Base. And it's all the figurines. You can even choose which animation they want to do, and you can turn them around, zoom in and out, pick which tier you want. It's really cool. So if you actually want to see what these figurines look like, which is easily the best part of the game, everything else I don't really recommend. But you can actually go do that right now. And I emailed them and was like, hey, I don't want to like compete with your website. We just want to archive this. Do you mind handing me what you have so we can just like save it? And they were very sweet and they did give it to me. So I could open up in Unity. Like they gave me so much more than I thought it was, because not only is it the figurines, there's like any art asset, backgrounds, animations. I just have everything. As of right now, it's like me and a couple other people are going to be hanging on to this, and if that guy's website ever goes down, then we'll make it public. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting that I don't know. I've been like kind of digging through this file because it's fucking huge. There's a lot of stuff in there. Just kind of digging into that and being like, man, there's a lot of people put in a lot of work to this, and like it's technically, I think the last update was in 2019. So it's been like quite a while before even anything was added to the game. Because like, what were they going to add? They added all like the comic book characters in there, so like there was nothing added. There was nothing to be added.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool, and like I don't know, it's kind of bittersweet to me because it's like I didn't particularly enjoy the game, but I know people that did. Like this guy obviously did. He put in a lot of work. The original idea for this website wasn't for an archive; it was to like plan out your party that you wanted to do, because it has like stats for everything. And that's not even the only site I saw of him. There's another one I also tweeted about it. You can go on my Twitter, and like there's another website that had very similar but like a little less, I don't want to say quality, it's just a little less information. Did the same thing, and they're really cool. Like it's a lot of people really liked this game, and now that it's shutting down, it's just kind of sad, just one less thing that people like. I don't know. So I guess I have mixed emotions. I didn't particularly enjoy the game, but it's just kind of sad seeing all this hard work getting thrown in the trash were it not for our efforts and the efforts of others.
I think this is immensely cool. Like I don't even think it's a little bit cool. I think this is honestly kind of special in a way. Like the fact that you all, you and others are taking on this effort to archive things that would otherwise be lost. It's not everything gets that type of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that do get that type of attention, it's really fortunate and kind of cool that like, it's cool to think of now. It'll be really cool when like whatever, right? Like a decade from now, someone remembers that this thing existed and they go to look somewhere and maybe they'll find Hoda Base or some other type of archive if that one isn't around then, and they'll be like, wow, someone else remembered this. Someone else took the time to do this when it was possible to do it and did this. I think that's kind of a really that's one of the most positive levels of community connection that exists over things like this.
Yeah, I actually like on that. So I had that video on Heroes of Dragon Age come out years ago, and like when I started to like look up information, I went back to my video and I was just looking through the comments, because sometimes people will comment like their memories of the game, and where I had more time on my hands and more obsessive, I would actually love to archive the community behind it, because I think that stuff's really interesting. So it's like, was anyone saying anything about like guilds they were in, whatever? And I actually came across a guy that said he was a dev on the team. It was a very simple comment like, hey, I was a dev on this. And I just want to thank you for like making a video on it. Hope you're well. And I was like, oh, okay. And like the YouTube account was his name. And I looked him up. And sure enough, yeah, he was one of the design. I think he was a lead. I can't quite remember. And I actually found his Twitter, and he had done a like postmortem breakdown on how they designed the battle system for the game. So I retweeted that. But yeah, just like I don't know, like it's weird now that this game is dying, even though it didn't really get a lot of love. Just like the effort that was put into it is now being shown and pulled out of the woodworks. And I just think that's really cool. That like I don't know, I do hope that like the people that worked on this, like I don't know, just like have some appreciation for their work. Like someone put like maybe not their heart and soul, but like they put their time. Yeah, they were paid for it, but like I hope they know that like some people did really enjoy it. Maybe I'm not one of them, but I know people did. People put money into it, put their time. So I don't know. Just I'm a sucker for knowing people haven't wasted their time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the words "for posterity" have that
Yeah.
particular meaning for a reason, because it's for posterity. Why let knowledge be lost?
God, there was something else I wanted to say on Hoda. Oh, my theory on why it's shutting down.
Oh,
So,
yes.
um, okay, I just want to say that there is no facts to base this on. It has not been said on why it's shut down. And frankly, I think maybe even just the more plausible answer is that it's been running for almost 10 years now, and that's a long fucking time for one of these games, especially since it hasn't had an update in 2 years. And actually, there is also currently a bug that any new player cannot join the game. You get stuck in an infinite loading screen, and that bug has been going on for a year.
Oh, that's rough.
So yeah, that's actually been not very helpful with archiving things, because despite I have played the game before, because I got a new phone in between that time, it's not letting me log in. And we do have someone that has an emulated Android that's been able to log in, but like it's hitting a lot, like a lot of us emulation on our phones, we can't log in anyway. But so that probably has something to do with it. But there are like the people that were just constantly playing. What happened to them? Maybe some of them just fell off. I even say this in the video that I did like a long time ago when I was playing. The peak times for that game were not not North American times. It was definitely Russian times. There was a lot of Russian, because you can like sign in, like your team name was whatever you typed in, and a lot of them would be that Cyrillic alphabet. And like looking up like popular guilds, the guy I contacted when he messaged me back, it had like an automated like response of like what the time was when they sent it, and it was in Russian. I think that this is a game that had a lot of Russian fans, and there is a lot of Russian Dragon Age fans. And I think if I'm not wrong, maybe I am, but I thought EA decided not to take Russian money anymore because of the war, and so I do wonder if this game is shutting down because it had a lot of Russian whales, if you want to say. Whales being people that pay a lot of money for mobile games to keep it afloat, and now that EA is no longer taking their money, the game's shutting down.
You think Putin did it?
I think Putin technically shut down Hoda.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's my conspiracy theory. Now, again, this could just be whatever. Now, I guess this is all dependent on who's if EA is taking Russian money or not. But I guess another thing to ask, so like, because so many young men are now being shipped out and killed in Ukraine for dumb reasons, like, did they just lose a fan base because they're in the war? I don't know.
So, okay, so I looked, I wanted to at least search because that's
Yes.
pretty, let's corroborate it if we can. And I'm finding, let's find some news sources that are somewhat reputable. So gamesindustry.biz, there's another one that did say they're ceasing all sales in Russia and Belarus.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, actually, Microsoft, Take-Two Interactive, Ubisoft, Electronic Arts, Activision Blizzard, Epic Games, CD Projekt, wow, there's a whole bunch of these,
Yeah.
have all actively taken a stance, while others are complying with economic sanctions imposed by the EU, US, and other nations. But the top paragraph said, this is from March of 22. For the past week, some of the biggest names in video games have been halting all sales in Russia in response to the country's invasion of Ukraine. So, evidently, in March, they made this decision, and presumably, I don't see anything. I don't see a newer news story that suggests that they have stopped doing that. Obviously, the conflict is still ongoing, so
Yeah.
presumably, their embargo, if that's the right term to think of, is still ongoing. So, wow, yeah, okay. So then, if that's where a large part of the transaction, the microtransactions are coming from, then you would imagine it's no longer pulling in much money from anywhere else. So
Yeah, so like that's kind of, now I at least want to be clear that if it was, sanctioning Russia or having Hoda live, let's sanction Russia. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, the game died. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, like, it's a kind of a weird coincidence that like I years ago thought that this game was being carried. Now, granted, I also said Chinese because I did see a lot of Chinese names by Russian and Chinese market. But if like their two biggest markets were Russia and China, and they sanctioned Russia, that's at least half of the revenue just zipped up. And it to be fair, and that's already for a game that wasn't making, like, it was rumored to make a profit, but not that much. So like even if that got cut up by like, let's say like 30%, that's probably enough to be like, fuck it, we're done with this. So I don't know. That's my theory. I'm not gonna other than right now. I'm not gonna make a video and be like, oh, Putin shut down Hoda. But I don't know. It's just weird timing, I suppose.
I think it's a very valid theory, and I guess it's a for now. I guess we can leave it at saying it's sort of a curiosity.
Yeah.
That's what led to it potentially.
Yeah. I to be honest, I think the game was dying anyway, so it needs to go. But yeah, I at least hope that the people that enjoyed this game, there are efforts to be done to at least save a lot of the art behind it and some of the mechanic. It's not going to be possible for us to save the game. Maybe someone out there is going to be able to make a playable version for our the people that I'm working with. Quite frankly, none of us know how to fucking do it. So we are going to be archiving a the downloadable Android version, but the servers behind it, we just don't know how to mimic that. So unless now I will say my beloved Sailor Moon Drops, someone archived a version of Sailor Moon Drops, and someone is now currently has made a fake server that if you're on Android and you just have to patch in okay, Sailor Moon Drops, don't look at the Bandai server, look at this fan made server, and it's playable again. So maybe someone does that with Heroes of Dragon Age. I think that'd be a little bit harder because it is a PvP game, sort of, but it's plausible, but I just especially since these type of games, it sounds like there's better versions for bigger IP. I can't imagine Dragon Age gets that because Dragon Age I think is kind of a smaller fandom to begin with anyway. But that's my take on Hoda dying. The end.
Yeah, well, I just reiterate, I'm glad that you all are doing what you're doing. I'm glad Hoda Base has done what they've done. I think that's phenomenal work all around.
Yeah, is that all we have? Let's see, Dragon Age is an alpha, Hoda's dead. The end. That's the episode.
Dragon Age Absolution is coming out next month.
Okay.
There's really nothing for us to say about it that we didn't say on the first episode, but
especially since literally nothing has come out.
No.
There are rumors that the 9th, but I have no idea why people are saying the 9th. I haven't heard anything official.
I wish I had the link up. There was something somewhere on a Netflix site or blog that had it listed as the 9th, I think. I don't remember where it was, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but it
could be.
IMDb has it. I'm sorry, it wasn't a Netflix thing. IMDb could be totally wrong, but on IMDb, it has it as the premiere as being December 9th.
Okay.
If that ends up being wrong, we're very sorry. But at least as of right now, there's some. I think that was it. People are taking that IMDb date as being gospel, rightly or wrongly.
Oh well, and hopefully we'll have another episode before then. But Dragon Age Day and tomorrow, from recording this, is actually N7 Day.
Yes, Monday, November 7th is N7 Day. Okay, so yeah, Dragon Age Absolution. There's really nothing we can say on it because there's no new information. But it's coming out in December, FYI, and N7 Day, who knows? Maybe this will be another classically wrong prediction from the Exalted March, but I don't think anything's really going to happen. I mean, they're going to post a video or some such thing, but I'm not expecting anything.
It's probably going to be we're working. Hi, welcome to Bioware. Today, we're going to tell you all about our exciting new Mass Effect game. We're really excited and working very hard to bring you something that you'll enjoy, and something like that. Maybe there's some new concept arts.
I think it would be phenomenal if it's exactly like that, but just the chair turns around and there's Salt and Pepper Casey Hudson holding the mug, and he's just we wanted to talk to you about what, and everyone's whoa, you're not even here anymore. Yeah, but he's so fucking good at doing that video that it's just just bring him back every year.
Oh God,
I could have sworn there was one where he turned around in the chair and he was holding a mug, and I was just it's so cozy. It's a basically meaningless update, but I feel so warm and welcomed right now.
Well, maybe I don't know, maybe who's the current Gary McKay? Is that the current GM? Maybe he does it this time.
Gary McKay is the studio general manager, but to me, Mike Gamble is the person I want to hear from.
Okay.
Because Mike Gamble's the creative director right now for the next Mass Effect, and also Mac Walters is still considered the series creative director. I don't remember what his I think his title is still creative director. And if Mary DeMarle could maybe talk about, I don't know, something, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Make an appearance since she's one of the new leads in narrative. But if anyone's going to make a turn around in the chair wearing a sweater and holding a mug, I guess it would probably be Mike Campbell. But just hear me out, BioWare. You could pay Casey Hudson to be the official N7 Day spokesman. I think that'd be neat.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Or well, less of a meme, more of like really, but like we have one of the shepherd voices would probably be fun too. Poor Ryder, like no.
Look, Ryder got a rough, situation there.
Yeah, that's a shame.
But we don't know. It may not be over for Ryder. I think some people hold out hope that the Ryder has not ridden their last ride.
That's very
I'll
poetic.
see myself out.
And then for Dragon Age Day, I think historically they've done just some short stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting some short stories. Maybe they release something. I don't know. We'll think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is actually very plausible that our next episode is after that. We'll try to record something before then, but we'll see. But anyway, I guess with that, is there anything else you'd like to end on?
Oh, no, I think that's about it.
All right, this has been another random news update from two people that are very busy, but still like talking about video games once a month.
We still like you guys. We like to talk to y'all, so we're coming back and talking about some random shit.
I know. So yeah, with that, where can they find you?
Folks can find me on YouTube at The Exalted March and on the Bird site at The Exalted March. Caitie, where can the folks find you?
They can also find me on the Bird site. I'm not going to leave because I'm too old to build up a platform anywhere else, and if it dies, then so do I. But and YouTube as Ghildirthalen. So with that, the rest are all.
You said like the people playing the music on the deck of the Titanic.
Yeah, no,
that's gonna be me and Caitie, except shit posting.
Yeah, you'll do your fake like Kanye-esque tweets again, and people are gonna get mad at you again.
Just going out like a doctor till the world ends. All right, the episode's over.
Yeah, bye. Get out of here.